Welcome to part 11 of the Green Bow Around God's Throne serious chat message, y'all. And this is March the 30th, 2025 by man's calendar. And I'm going to discuss a little bit more about how y'all want to keep this law or that law of the commandments, but you're breaking the first. You can keep every law from here to Timbuktu. If you break that first, you broke them all. The rest of them are void if you break the first. Let's go into the Exodus 20 and we'll discuss it a little more. And God spake all these words, saying, God spoke them. Now, we ain't going back under the 623 or whatever laws. No, because Jesus is the law. But he told us to keep what Moses said. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or in the earth beneath, or that is under the earth, or that is in the water under the earth, rather. But you have these things even in your churches. Even in the churches. After God commanded that we have them not. And not to make them and not to have them. And here you have them. And you'll harp on adultery. And you'll preach on adultery. But you will not preach on getting rid of the graven images. Why is that? You don't love God enough to want people to love Him more than their graven images? Don't put the Catholics down, Pentecostals, if you're going to keep decorating the inside of the churches. There's nothing wrong with plain walls and things. Not having idols for people to fixate on. Actually having those idols says to newbie babies that come in, here's our God. Especially if they're on the altar for people to bow down to. Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting, now listen what he says he's going to do, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Now, apparently you hating God pretty bad, 'cause you won't give up your little idols. You've been praying for some of your family members and can't seem to get through. Maybe your idol ain't listening. Won't you pick it up and shake it? Rub it like a genie lamp. You might say, well, I don't serve that like an idol. No, but how do you think God looks at it? After He commanded you not to have it, but yet you have it. Remember, He's a jealous God. You ever been jealous in your life? Ever? Not just talking about for spouse's sake, but for anybody's attention. Jealous about anything. And not wanting anybody to be in your space. Because you want to be number one to somebody. Ever been jealous in your days? Well, if you're number one to somebody, they're not going to put others before you. And they're not going to do stuff to anger you. Right? So if you were putting God first, keeping Him first and loving Him, you certainly wouldn't want to hurt Him by having idol imagery sitting around the churches. You wouldn't want to hurt Him by putting idols on the temple of God either, which is gold and silver and all these things. Because the Bible even tells us not to adorn ourselves in these things. Why? Because they idols and we're supposed to be the temple of God. Now, I'm going to recap verse 5 one more again. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Don't say you love God if you won't keep at least the first commandment. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. That name is Jesus. Let's talk about that just a little bit here. You don't hear people going around here trying to use the name of Gandhi as a cuss word. You don't hear people going around here trying to use the name of Buddha as a cuss word. You don't hear people going around here trying to use the name of Brahma as a cuss word. If you stub your big toe and you're wanting to cuss, you don't holler, well, Brahma, Buddha, Baal, Beelzebub. No, there is no other name but Jesus. The name that people usually holler so much these days when they're trying to cuss or when they're mad about something, they'll holler, well, Jesus Christ. That irritates the life out of me. I want to just backhand them right in the mouth. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not lying. I'm going to confess my thoughts. I said I wanted to. I didn't say I did it. But it irritates me when people try to use the name of God, the only God, not just my God, the only God, as a cuss word. That's taking his name in vain. Oh, here's a biggie y'all don't want to keep. You'll preach on adultery from daylight to dark. But here's another one that you won't touch. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. No, you want to keep Sunday Sabbath that the Catholics said. The Catholics who killed the true church. Because they changed the times. They figured to change the times. They've changed the laws. They changed the days of when you go into God's rest. Man has no authority to change God's rest day. God already had set that day. It is Friday evening through Saturday evening. And y'all be breaking it. And I spoke yesterday briefly to an actual Orthodox Jew. There's one that works in town now. And I just love talking to him about the Hebrew and stuff. Love it. Why? Because I'm in love with Jesus. And that is Jesus' language. And love to hear the little man. He's very kind. Love to hear him pronounce the Lord's names. Adonai, Elohim, Shaddai, all those. They pronounce it so pretty. He's very kind. And I was talking with him yesterday, and I wished him Shalom Shabbat. And he did me as well. And he was talking about being an Orthodox. I had on my prayer shawl yesterday because it was a heavy prayer day for me. And that hasn't changed. I'm still under that same heavy prayer today. So I will be wearing my prayer shawls. So no condemnatory thoughts from you, because that's something I honor God with. I don't care what your opinion is. God knows when I wear my prayer shawl that I am in serious need. Anyways, it's the Lord's Prayer that is on that prayer shawl. It comforts me. But anyway, as I was speaking to this little Orthodox Jew yesterday, he was talking about, he had read the prayer shawl, the Hebrew side, and it was beautiful. I said, "Oh, you can read it?" And he said, "Yes." He was taught that in Yiddish and a couple other languages. I said, "How wonderful to have such wonderful things passed down to you." And he said, he said, "Am I pronouncing that right? Joshua?" I said, "Yes, that is how that is pronounced in the Hebrew. Jesus is pronounced Joshua." And he said, "We don't believe they are the same. We don't believe that Jesus is the same person." I said, "Yes, you're Orthodox." He said, "Yes." So I said, "You're Orthodox, yet you work Sabbath?" And I could tell by the look on his face that cut. And he just kind of, the sadness, his countenance fell. And I wasn't meaning for it to be this big cut thing. I was just asking a question. And he said, well, I have to because of the flooding and stuff. And I said, I see. Um, but some people are not doing it because they have to, because of emergencies like the neighbor's ox stuck in a ditch or so forth. But they're doing it because they dishonor God. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Verse 8. Verse 9. 6 days shalt thou labor. Now this is a commandment from God. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. But there's all kinds of businesses open Friday evening through Saturday. You see, we're supposed to make preparations Friday before sunset for Sabbath. We are supposed to prepare our meals and all that. If you need gasoline or something to get places and so forth, you should be getting it Friday before sunset and so forth, just to use that as an example, and so on. And you're forcing, and because as long as the Christian people buy things and go into these stores and stuff on Sabbath and go to these places instead of just resting with the Lord on Saturdays, these places will continue to open for the almighty dollar. And this is a problem. This is a problem. This cannot be. They're supposed to be open Sunday through Friday. And then all businesses and everything should be closed so that people don't work. They should be closed by 4 o'clock Saturday to give proper prep time for people that have to prep for Sabbath. The only thing that should remain open for those that have to work until 3 and 4 o'clock in the day should be gas stations and stuff, so that people can get home from work. Should remain open until 4:30, 5 o'clock. And to give people time to get gas and so forth in preparation for Sabbath. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. That's why we shouldn't be changing the Sabbath, because the Lord blessed the Sabbath day. He hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother. Wait a minute. Let me back up just a second. How much are you reverencing God and what he says if you think it's fine to keep Sunday Sabbath because Catholics changed it to that? You're not honoring what God said. You're honoring what that man said. Those men. So how are you loving God? How are you reverencing what God said and commanded? You're not. You're reverencing what man changed it to from what God had already established. Don't tell me you honor God. No, you don't. No, you don't. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Everybody keeps talking about how people are dying younger and younger. Well, guess why? They are not honoring their mothers and fathers to live long upon the earth. Thou shalt not kill. You want to say it's okay for people to kill one another if it's for to protect themselves or this, that, and the other. Is that what Jesus said? Is that what Jesus did? Was that the example Jesus set? When he was under attacking him, an innocent man had done no wrong and they was getting ready to kill him. Is that what he did? Did he go into self-defense mode and protect himself? I thought Jesus died on the cross. I didn't know he got angry and whooped all them and killed them. I thought he humbled himself down and submitted. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Now there's one you want to keep. Verse 14. Thou shalt not steal. There's another one you want to talk about a little bit because you don't want people to steal your goods. But you don't want to keep these others. Thou shalt, and every time you start talking about the commandments, the first ones you go to is them too. You don't worry about the first ones. You barely mention them at all. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. That means you can't look for a reason to pick apart what I'm saying to you and trying to falsify things I've said to you by saying that I was chasing you when all I was doing was asking for prayers and joking around with you as a person, as a friend. You can't falsify the evidence. God knows the truth. He knows my heart. He knows I had no other intentions towards nobody. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Gross. Nor his manservants, nor his maidservants, nor his oxen, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. You ain't supposed to want it for yourself. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die. See, they feared God so much so they didn't want to hear him for themselves. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. Guess what's happened? Everyone has lost their fear of God because they don't love God, they don't reverence God. To love the Lord is to fear the Lord. But you don't have any fear of God destroying you anymore. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near onto the dark, onto the thick darkness where God was. And the Lord said unto Moses, Thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, You have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make with me gods of silver. You shall not make with me, that means images of God. You shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold. An altar of the earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen, in all places where I record my name. I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone, for if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go upon by steps upon mine altar, that thy nakedness be discovered thereon. Now I'm going to leave you at that because I got to get ready for service this morning. And I'm going to get this up. And I'll see you in the next one.